The Federal Reserve Whisperer, Nick Timiros from the Wall Street Journal, just said that the October CPI inflation report makes him think that the Federal Reserve is likely done. This is a Fed that is likely done in his opinion, although they might not explicitly say that. They might still leave an option open to hike again if inflation and the economy still stays strong. He said that the Fed pretty much is probably privately declaring victory over their fight against inflation. They just can't admit the obvious yet into the public, because that would do some of the job. It would probably pretty much roll that back a little bit, because then financial conditions like the stock markets and bonds would rally, and that's not what they want. But it's good news that he thinks that the Fed is likely done with hiking rates, considering he is the Federal Reserve Whisperer. He often gets some leaks what the Federal Reserve wants to do ahead of time. So that's good news. We're also seeing signs that the 10-year bond yields are below 4.5% to a level of about 4.4%, which is helping stocks continue their rally. And then we're also seeing oil. Oil fell into a bear market. Oil's now down in the low 70s, and that's adding further upside to stocks. And then we also had some good news. President Biden and President Xi's meeting was pretty productive. It pretty much de-escalated any tensions that they had. And Ray Dalio agreed. He thought that there's a risk of U.S. and China's tensions escalating, and the fact that there seems to be almost like a de-escalatory tone to their meeting, and pretty much trying to say that although they're not adversaries, they're more in competition, and they still want to remain friendly. Pretty much reiterating that tone, I think, is huge. And that's adding some optimism to the markets and the geopolitical situation, at least with China and the U.S. And then we had President Biden sign the House-passed bill to avert a government shutdown. Although this isn't a longer-term bill that includes aid to Israel, Ukraine, the border, and cutting spending for our deficit. This is still good in the sense that it shows that Washington is semi-functional. And honestly, I think the reason that this bill passed before the deadline was because with Moody's report last week, pretty much putting the U.S.'s debt on negative outlook, I think was a catalyst really for lawmakers to get moving and to pass something. And then I also wanted to touch quickly on the Magnificent Seven stocks, and the big cap tech stocks are starting to get a little bit overvalued, pretty much to historical levels, at least compared to small cap stocks. So in my opinion, I think that small cap stocks have a lot of room to run. They're historically beaten down since January of 2022. And so I think small cap stocks will carry the market for its next leg up. And the market's rally will broaden out to other stocks besides the Magnificent Seven into year end. And then lastly, I wanted to talk quickly about Bitcoin and Ethereum. There's more hopes that the Bitcoin spot ETF will be approved soon, and BlackRock officially filed for a spot Ethereum ETF, and that's continuing to help the crypto markets. The main reason it'll help the crypto markets is that once there's spot ETFs of these products, financial advisors will be more comfortable investing their client assets into these projects and into these assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum, which will likely propel the prices for Bitcoin and Ethereum much higher, in my opinion. And finally, before I wrap up, I wanted to touch on two news stories quickly. First, we had legendary big short investor Michael Burry, who made a lot of money shorting the housing market back in 2008. He put on short positions for the market back in July for the S&P 500 and NASDAQ using options, and he closed his short positions in a filing. It's estimated that he was down about 40% in those positions, and that's good news in the sense that he thinks that he closed the positions because he doesn't think he can make money on them. partially due to the underlying strength that's now happening in the market. However, he did put on a new short position using put options for the semiconductor stocks index, putting about $43 million worth of value for that. So we have to see how that materializes. He probably thinks that semiconductor stocks are overvalued. We have to see how that plays out. And then we also had some good news for Walmart. Walmart said on their earnings call that it's possible that deflation could be happening soon to consumers. Although prices are higher last year and sharply higher from 2 years ago, the rate of increase is going down for pretty much for the products that they carry. And they likely think that price decreases will start to happen. And that's good news because Walmart's a big retailer that will spill over to the consumer. That's something that the Federal Reserve does want to see, and that'll likely propel stocks even higher, in my opinion.